Good morning, everybody. So I just did the Divine Mercy first Friday. I did the first Friday yesterday, but I did the first Saturday devotions today as well. And I didn't do the Roddy talk this morning. I'll have to listen to it. But I wanted to do the Divine Mercy because it's a big feast for us in the Catholic Church. And we believe in God's mercy and God's graces. So in a special way, I prayed this novena for my own family together with my mom. I also prayed for the musicians that I love. I prayed for Elvis's grandchildren, that God would guide them and bless them as they continue his legacy. And just to share a little bit about this devotion I have, this love I have for Elvis Presley. Yesterday I sat and I found the concert on YouTube, and I have shared it to my Facebook page of the Aloha concert. And it was really well done. When I have my prayer time with Elvis, and I go to him as one of the people that I love and admire who has passed on. And it was really well done. I mean, the way they did the cameras, the way they live streamed it, and it was live streamed later in America compared to the rest of the world. But I just admire what they did back then. Some of the things that we did, children today would not be able to do, just like some of the things our parents did, we would not be able to do. We'd find them incredibly difficult. So for example, when I ordered his record, I got this anniversary record of the Elvis Aloha from Hawaii. I don't have the DVD, but I did get this from Graceland. You have the concert via satellite, and you have the alternate, the one he did for free. So when you order the records now, the records that used to be 2 LPs, they're now 4 LPs, because they have to get that original recording onto the LPs, and they can't do it in the same way. But I liked Elvis for a number of reasons that probably people my age may or may not like him. But I liked him because he was first very well dressed. I loved his materials. I loved the materials he chose for his clothing, the sequins, the beadwork, all the symbols of Christianity that he put on him, the sun at the back, the eagle, the nail suit. Everything that he did gave glory and honor to Jesus Christ. And I just loved how they focused on him, on his face, on his eyes, and his entire way of dressing. Like when you see him, you don't like today, you see people and you see the sweat pits, you see the sweat under the armpits, you see the sweat in the torso area, and you never saw that with him on the stage. So it's amazing how they did things, the way they filmed him. All he had was a shaky leg, big deal. When you look at what people are doing today, where they're bringing naked women onto the stage and all that. I mean, personally, that's not my thing. I don't like it. And I just loved how he kept his dignity, he kept his way of doing things, and he didn't let anybody change him to the extent that he could. So it was nice for me to go back to revisit that, to look at it. And also for the example that he set for the young children and for us. Because, I mean, I was small when Elvis was singing. And we didn't, at least for me, I didn't really follow people who were stripping on stage and tearing their shirts off. And the same thing with the tennis people that I followed. I followed people who were very traditional, like they wore their whites onto the tennis court. They bowed in front of the box to the royalty. So that's how I grew up. Today things are different. But I still love that about Elvis, that he never stripped on stage, he never had naked people on stage. He always did things with class, and he always did things that it appealed to us. It made you want to follow this man and follow his music. And so I think that's the same thing that we have to do, that I try to do. There's all kinds of criticism leveled against me as a person, but if that's who I am and if people don't like it, well, that's not my fault. I can only change to a certain extent, and after that, that's it. And I did make a decision when I had gone through my John Maxwell talks with Chris Robinson and a number of the other speakers when we used to do our sessions together where we had our leadership meetings. And I had made a decision that if I don't find something, if I don't find an executive assistant role by end of last year, I was going to apply in America. And it's not that I don't like Canada, but if things are not getting better for me here and things are not changing and I can't make the money I want to make, then I'm open to relocating. And it doesn't have to just be America, but preferably in the Western world, preferably not where there's a Muslim culture and there's no support for women's rights, and I don't have to live in fear. I don't have to cover up my head and face and tie my hair up. I like my hair long. So I made that decision, and last night I sat up and I signed up for all the Facebook groups where I could find where there are jobs in America. I sent out resumes to American companies, American recruiters, and I tried to join some groups that are in America that maybe can help me. I know it's not easy to get positions in America, but I'm qualified. I'm not a high school graduate. And one of the things that they teach us in our spiritual direction is to know your place in life. So if I was just like uneducated and I didn't know better and I said, oh, well, you know what, I'm worth nothing, and at this stage in life I can't expect any better, then that's not really staying true to my vocation. It's not staying true to my state in life, because I am a spiritual director. Whether the church is sending people to me for spiritual direction or not, that's up to them. But I follow a lot of the teachers and the priests in the United States. I've been helping with a lot of things in the United States for years. EWTN, Marian Helpers, the Miraculous Medal Society. I've helped with the Knox Shrine in Ireland. I've tuned into their services. So it's not like it's impossible, but who knows? I have to try. And at least that way I know I've put in the effort, because to be honest with you, nobody likes to live in poverty. And nobody likes like how I'm living. That social net is only there for a limited amount of time. And then when that is gone, then what? And if the Canadian market is not open to John Maxwell, and they're not open to changing things, and hiring those of us who have those skills, then I need to go where the opportunities are. I've also applied in Australia, I've applied in New Zealand, I've applied in Malaysia, I've applied in a lot of different places. I have cousins who are also working in different areas of the world. So that's what I did yesterday, and that's what I made the decision, and I did it in this period of divine mercy, and I hope for the best, and that's all I can do. But it's been a guiding force. Elvis music has been a guiding force in my life, particularly since this harassment case closed. And if people don't like him, they don't like him. That's perfectly fine with me. But I admire him for the way he carried himself, for the way he presented himself, for the way he did things, and the way that he kept his dignity about him on the stage. Because for me, I don't enjoy going to concerts and watching naked people on the stage. I mean, I went to Phil Collins and that was really nice, but I don't get to concerts too often. I go once in a few years, and I've seen Phil Collins a few times. I've seen U2 once in Canada, and that's it. Other than that, I went to a concert in Zimbabwe at home for the Human Rights Concert. So that's where I follow Sting from, and that's where I follow Springsteen from. It was from that. But Presley I guess he'll always have my heart, but I admire him. I have books that I bought on his clothing, the silk suits, the scarves, like just everything. I mean, I can't imagine how heavy those suits were on the stage, but even his clothes, they were fitted clothes. And it was just a pleasure to watch him move on that stage. I could not take my eyes off him, let's put it that way. So it's different from when I was a little girl, because now I look at him as a man. It's very different, but he was an amazing man. And so I hope my prayers for the Divine Mercy will be heard, for his family, his grandchildren, for his legacy. And I hope people will remember the good things about him, not just the bad things, not just the things that people tend to focus on, because nobody else walked in his shoes. Nobody else had to make the decisions he had to make. And also his faith was central for him. And that's what I loved about him. And that's what I admired about him. But yeah, if you get a chance to watch that concert, see how it was filmed, how it was done. I don't like it when they take his stuff and they tamper with it, or they bring in like different things. I mean, I listen to the London Philharmonic Orchestra's versions and things, and they're nice. I enjoy them, but I always go back to the originals. So yeah, that was my Divine Mercy and my vocation, and how I'm hoping to move forward. They say if you don't have a goal, you can't get to where you're going. You have to focus on where you want to be. And I think the executive assistant role would be good for me, because with my health now and everything else, I think it would be a good way to earn my living. And I'm not into creating policies and all the stuff that HR directors do. I've never enjoyed it. I don't like creating policies and updating them and dealing with the governance and all that. I can do it if I have to within the executive assistant position. I have done it. But everybody has things that they're good at. I'm good at the calendaring, setting up meetings, dealing with events, liaising with the hotels, making sure I stick to my budgets, updating them, providing feedback to those that have given me a budget, dealing with the travel, dealing with the expenses. Those are the things that I'm good at. So I'm trying to find that kind of a role, because in Canada, that's not what they're looking for. They want to do their own calendaring and manage their own calendars, and they want you to do other things, the binding and the photocopying and that kind of thing, which is not a true EA position. So anyway, let's see. I know that Australia is looking for people, New Zealand's looking for people, and the United States is looking for people. So hopefully I get a break and then I can go, because I don't really have any reason to stay here. I mean, really, there's nothing holding me back. And if I can get something related to the music industry or the sports industry, that would be nice, because I'm passionate about those areas. But if not, I remain open to seeing what's out there. I worked in construction in England, so that's another area that I'm familiar with, the engineering organizations. So I just have to wait and see how things go, and remain open to the possibilities. I don't know why I can't share the Marion's posts from Facebook to my page. I can't share the scriptures from the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops to my page. So I do my own. Or if I can find them on YouTube, I share them that way. But anyway, let's see how it goes.